All right, welcome to the Collegiate Mario Kart League. Today we have Primetime, and we are watching a match of Ontario United versus Texas Unified. Should be a great match. We are in D1, and these are two of the strongest teams up there. So I'm very excited to see what we have in store for us today. Joining me, we have Spicy, coming right off of casting a D2 match. How you doing?
My throat is exhausted, but I am so excited to be casting this match. I remember like my preseason stream and my seeding stuff, we were talking about this for a long time. Texas and Ontario are the two best teams on paper, with some of the greatest players we've in the league. Honestly, having so much depth on both sides, the core four on Texas, and then Ontario's like top five. They all play. It's insane. There's so many good players on these teams. So like, I remember thinking we could be potentially watching a future playoff match, potentially the future championship match here tonight.
Yeah, it should be a really good match. I think both teams have some of their strongest lineups. May not be the best of the best, but we'll find out. On Texas Unified, we got Greg, Sand, Muffin Man, Naram or Naram. I don't know which one it is. My bad. Unlucky Pro and Dario. And then go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, from Ontario United, you got Iona, Chipper31, Canada Nerd, Guilty Echo, Bonkers, Mumu. So you mentioned like, yeah, we got some good players here. On Texas, you got Greg and Sand. I know they've played a lot together, and they have a ton of synergy with each other. Iona and Chipper from Ontario, also two players who are doing crazy this season. Iona, I think, is averaging like a over 140 in Division One, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Iona was a very scary player. See, I am from Team UA, and we played against Iona, and Iona was just up there in like top 3 every single race. Very strong player.
Yeah, and I know from like both these teams are so far like 2-0 in the season. Texas, you see, had a plus 48 win against UC SoCal, and then they had to take a forfeit win against Arizona, sadly, but still doing very well in the season. Ontario, they played UA, got a plus 48, and then they played Peach State, got that plus 124. Both very good teams. I know Ontario just dropped their first match of the season to Kutztown the hour ago. I think they're going to be coming into this looking for like for some redemption, just trying to redeem their week. But I wouldn't be surprised. I could really see either of these teams pulling out a crazy win here.
And both teams, they have so many strong players at the front, but even their quote unquote weaker players could still be just as threatening in this match. Really is going to come down to the wire. This should be very close.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Could see a back and forth match the entire time, and it looks like we have most of the players ready to go, only waiting on 1 or 2 more. So we're almost there.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to. I think we're at 11 right now. If Ontario is being nice to us, they are all red, which would make things super easy to like coordinate. And I think they're all red me's right now, which means we're probably waiting on one person from Texas, which would be interesting here. I don't know what spots everyone is in because we didn't get a chance to see that, but we could be seeing some crazy potential in terms of like track picks here.
Yeah, I believe someone from Texas was said to be running just a little bit late, so we might have to wait a couple minutes, but that's all right. I think we're almost there.
Yeah, let's hope. I know there's potential for maybe a 5v6. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but because that'd be such a shame to have that happen on prime time. But it's like I've seen 5v6 happen before in like MKU. There was one like MKU prime time where one player from UK was asleep and they didn't wake up until race 10, but so their team was just trying to keep them like their team managed to keep it close. I think it was only like a minus 40 loss or something like that, despite playing a 5v6. So we've seen crazy stuff happen before. So maybe even if Texas doesn't have a 6th player, they have, with how many good players are on that team, we could be seeing some crazy things.
There are ways to minimize the impact of being down a player, and especially if that player is maybe just running late and on their way, then we could see just Texas trying to hold off as long as they can for this match.
Yeah, honestly, so you could see some like room holding like before picking courses. I know they said they're going to start at the 15-minute mark, so we got 3 minutes still. But yeah, we hope to see that last player from Texas come in because that would be really helpful for them, especially against like Ontario. Like, yes, Ontario already dropped the game, but really, with how good all the teams in Division 1 are, going dropping like any game is like really scary, and like having a forfeit or having to do anything like that, anything that might limit your chances of like making playoffs, especially when only 3 teams make it in the playoffs, could be really scary. As we see, Iona's battery is also low apparently.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to see him run out of batteries, creating a unintended 5v6, not even from really much fault of his own. So hopefully he gets that situated, because that would just not be fun to deal with. And I'm sure that both these teams want to face each other at their strongest, especially since they are our top two. I think they are still our top 2 teams in division. Not 100% sure on that, but they're definitely still very much in contention to be the top team. So if I were them, I'd want to face off at their strongest. So hopefully everyone is able to play at their best tonight.
Yeah, I would completely agree. You don't want to see either team like not having their best lineup here. So that could be potentially very scary for both teams. And like we know that these teams are like close in terms of like skill level on paper. So really, it's anyone's game, and so it's really just gonna come down to who has the best lineup tonight, and like it could be interesting. What honestly going into this, not knowing like who's gonna be playing, you gotta see people like using the chat function here. I guess now just to kind of stall for time. We have a minute to go, so we could be starting very soon.
Yeah, it looks like Iona's saying that they're a little nervous, and I mean, who would? Oh, and we see the 12th person. So it looks like we'll be ready to go very shortly.
Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting here. I don't remember, I forget which player was late, but either way, good players on both teams. So I'm so excited because we're about to have the first primetime match ever for CMKL. Greg is starting the lobby now, and yeah, we got 2 heavy hitters here, the heavyweights of this division, potential title contenders, and we're gonna see what each of these teams are gonna be picking right off the bat.
And we do not know the spots, so hard to predict exactly what gets picked here, but I think probably mostly just mixed spots here. I know that Texas does start in 1 as they're hosting the lobby, and I believe that was their player that joined last, so maybe we'll see just a mixed track, but I don't know. Hard to say. We might just see some sort of soft runner for their top spot. And yeah, we do see the music part come out for Texas, it looks like.
Yeah, and the Twisted Mansion from Ontario. So that usually implies you pick Twisted often when the other team has top 2. So and music is really good in top 2, also good for running, and there's a little help with drafting as well. So I'm interested to see what we're going to be going with, and it does look like we are going to be landing on RMP, and we're going to be having this is at least for Texas. This is probably what you want to start off with, as Greg is apparently from Italy.
Oh, I don't think that's very accurate, as he is on the Texas team, but
Iona's from Japan.
Who am I to
also.
say? I, who am I to argue with this?
Hold up, Bowser?
What? Wait. Interesting.
No?
Yeah, the Bowser pick, very, very interesting to see here.
Yeah, that's a crazy pick. You don't really see, especially from this division, you typically see a lot more closer to the meta setups. And then you see the Bowser from, I forgot which team that was, but really, there's some interesting like lineup situations here too. You see the Cat Cruiser also come out. I know the same stats as Teddy, but you also see some Ink Striker usage now, and not just the Yoshi Teddy we see in like every division.
Yeah, even Iona, one of the top players on Ontario, opting for the Ink Striker, kind of surprising to see, but I mean, if they can make it work, then why not, right? And we see that Texas has that horn in 1. It looks like, that's not 1. Never mind. There's a white Yoshi way out in front. Not sure what team that is, but I'm gonna in 2 with the Ghost. Probably just looking to hold this as long as possible. Maybe Ontario even trying to get shock now, but Iona is forced into the Ghost, unfortunately. But it looks like we see some lag on the mini map.
Unfortunate, yeah, having the lag. But yeah, team from Texas, team from Canada. It sometimes happens here. But that's a crazy run from the person in first. I can't tell for sure who that is. If that's one of Texas, that's really good. Especially because I think a lot of Texas is behind Iona right here. So there's a crazy run going on at first, and it's gotta influence some polls. You gotta see Iona take the cut here, have some shrooms ready, potentially use burn the shroom. Yeah, and you see triple reds actually in second. That lead is massive, but you might want to be holding on to these reds just because you know Sand is right behind you, and you see that like I think it's a 1-3 for Texas at least if we assume that it's Greg up in first. And if that's the case, they're looking to sit really nice here as now that's a star in second, except they're gonna get redded out.
Texas lets Sand in, but it looks like Sand pulled triple reds right after, so Iona could be in trouble here. Probably just like does not see the nanas in time, unfortunately. And it looks like the blue is actually going to go for Iona here as that player in front is long gone.
Oh
but
my gosh,
then
yeah.
again, Iona pulling the shroom just barely crosses the line in time.
Yeah, the way to salvage that there. I'm really interested to see which player that was. I want to say that was Greg up in first, and he just had the run of their life right there. Yeah, that's a 1-3-4, 9-11-12. I think that's a slight positive for Texas. I could be wrong.
Yeah, unfortunately, the teams have not chosen to character coordinate, so it will be a little hard to tell from the minimap exactly where everyone is and what team they're on, but I think it could be safe to assume that if there's a white Yoshi way out in front, could just be Greg, considering what we saw that first race.
Okay, so I have to do the math because Tobot is dead, and we said this was going to be an even match, and that was a +0 apparently.
Wow, very crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's insane. We are in for an amazing start if we're having that already. Like a 1-3-4-9 bot 2. Like, oh my gosh, we just started. And I like these picks here. Both TM and Athens, I think, are solid picks for both teams in this kind of situation.
I think the Athens, like, giving an opportunity to kind of split up the pack based on, like, how well they can take that beginning section could be really good, considering, like, how much of a lead we saw Greg get on the last race. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. I'm wondering if Ontario is going to be able to just like make do with what they got here. They can pull shrooms, and if they pull shrooms early, they can kind of just get ahead in the lead, especially off on that first turn. But it's really going to come down to like what do you pull in these opening item sets. As you see, it's the top two immediately for Texas. So potentially scary situation here, but Iona's going to be able to outline and go into an opening trail here, going to also snag the double, making them eat a bit better, and it's a double defense in first as well. They're going to take Nisk as well.
As we switch POVs,
and then we got Greg on screen.
It looks like Ontario, is that okay? No, that was almost a top 3 for Ontario, but Greg does make his way into second. And all the way into first, it looks like that Ontario player ended up going wide to give the first up. Greg trying to go for Nisk here. Can he get it? Oh, hits the wall, not quite. But
yeah, not quite, but they do hit. But Sand is right there to able to take the lead off instead. And now Mumu over in second for Ontario. And it looks like there's a lot of Texas up here. It looks like it's like a 1-3-4, maybe now the top 2-4 now. Sand in a trail. Greg's also trailing right here. They have a lot of defense ready, and you're gonna probably start to wondering if there's a blue show gonna be in play or if the blue show's being held by Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas holding this top 2 for now. Sand loses a bit of time, but it's okay because only Greg passes him, so that's completely fine. And a bomb in first for Greg.
Oh, probably top 3, I think, for Texas.
Maybe not gonna look. Yeah, probably not gonna look to use it, considering the spots. But this is a really bad situation for Ontario. Can they make anything happen?
Yeah, if there's gonna be like a shock or something, it's gonna have to happen probably now at the absolute latest. But the blue show's gonna come out, and I think that was a Texas blue because I think they're gonna be able to outrun it at least. It does look like Greg's gonna be able to outrun it as well, so that looks like this should be a good race for Texas.
It looks like we see a ton of top spots, top 2 and a 5 as we see from Iona's POV. Iona getting 6th, but yeah, top 3-5 for Texas. A huge race for Texas. We're only 2 races in, and we've seen We see some crazy stuff already.
Yeah, that is insane. That was like what, a top 3 5 8 12, I think. So that's a definite win for Texas. It's just a matter of like how big of a win was it? Because if that's the case, that was wow. Okay, now I'm gonna see the screen. Yeah, top
Yeah,
3.
Iona going to
Okay,
look at
cool.
it. All right, yeah, we see the Trainbow for Ontario United. Makes sense. Really, only like spot really far up there is Iona in fourth, I believe, or not fourth, in sixth. But then Ontario United does have the fourth, so not very many top spots. So Trainbow could be really good here, and Texas opting for the Paris pick. Maybe a couple of them will swap onto Inward. I'm not sure if any of them are hybrid players. It's very possible though.
Oh, I think that'd be a really interesting pick there, honestly. If they do have like that mix there. Oh, we go, okay, other rainbow road.
Okay. I think we might have had a bit of a communication error in there and picking the wrong Rainbow Road, but could work out here. If Ontario United is able to get that front presence early, but could be a little difficult for them, as they only have fourth and sixth to start off with, and Texas has 4 out of top 6, so yeah, holding that top 3 at the start.
Yeah, this is crazy right here, honestly, having to do this. But Iona's going to be able to draft their way into first, the Trainbow Who at this point, I guess, because
crazy play from Iona.
Yeah, honestly, getting up in the first, they're going to be able to get some form of defense here because of holding the court. Oh my gosh, a bomb. That bomb is going to connect on Greg as well as you see the white Yoshi fall over. Oh, with Iona dodges the red, I think, at least in the process, I think. I'm not sure that was intentional or not, but oh, hey, do it. You go off.
Successful red dodge, but yeah, it does fall off, unfortunately. And it looks like, yeah, a top 2 for Texas, but Iona right there, and there is a red in 2, so Iona will likely just wait it out for now.
Oh, and these triple greens from Iona, there's a potential for a play here as well, especially Dario's going to have to trail just to stay alive, but there's 2 more greens coming for Dario, and now Santa has a run starting to develop, but Iona's going to come up into second, and I think Mumu is going to try and fight their way up into third, which is big. If a blue shell comes now, that's going to be potentially very good for the end of Ontario here, even on the track that didn't necessarily mean to pick, but I think, oh, Greg is now in third, it looks like, so this could be a potential 1-3. And that's an insight. It's a rough ball right there.
Still a 3-4 though for Ontario, and the blue shell comes out. If this hits in time, we could see maybe a 2-3 for Ontario. Iona just trying to get away, it looks like, for now. Never mind that. That's another Ontario teammate, so it doesn't look like it'll matter. But yeah, we see a 2-4-5, I think, for Ontario. They salvaged that at the end through the blue shell.
Definitely, yeah, I think the blue shell was a big salvage, yeah. Because that's 1-3 only, 1-3-6. Oh, and bot 2 for Texas as well. That's like a relatively close race, maybe like close to even, I think. Maybe actually a slight win for Ontario.
I don't know, looking at the spots again real quick. Oh,
never mind.
Forgot to screenshot, apparently. That's unfortunate.
Rough right there. I think that was like a 1-3-6, 9-11-12. I could be wrong.
Yeah, something like that for Texas. So we might. Yeah, hard to predict exactly. Oh, we see the Dolphin Shoals from Ontario, and the DP3 from Texas, just trying to hopefully have that person hold the lead but still leave some opportunity for their bottom spots to catch up, as they do have that bot too.
Oh, I think that bot 2, yeah, that's really good for them. Actually, I think both these courses could be beneficial to either team. But hey, we got Dolphin Shoals now, typically seen as a drafter, but there's still a lot of bagging potential on here. Could work out for either team in this situation.
So it'll be interesting to see exactly how either team goes to play this. See if any of them try and go for shock or a build to take the extension, as there is a lot of mixed spots from both teams.
Yeah, and I think having those mixed spots really is where Dolphin is such a good course, like tried and true, honestly, for a lot of teams. Iona's going to be able to get in the first, fail that Nana right away as well. And then you see them, I don't know if they're going to be looking to take double here. They're going to take the single. I think that's Greg right by with them, yes. So we got a quick fight for 1-2 right here, but Iona's still going to be able to take tops, and that's Chipper right behind them in 2. So it's an early top 2 for Ontario.
Yeah, Texas still very close behind, so it's likely will not last for too long, but we'll see. And it looks like we do have one player in the all the way in the back already looking to try and pull shock. Pulls the bill instead.
Yeah, unfortunate not to pull Shocky yet, but it maybe they have it coming up soon. And with Dolphin having as much bagging potential as there is a good chance that you will see a shock in every race, especially at this level when teams definitely know how to pull it, especially with the kind of experience there is on both sides. But right now, Iona's really just staying in first, and still a comfortable top two for Ontario right here. They don't have a horn, so there's no. And actually, unless Chipper does. Oh, Chipper has a shroom. Okay. Even better play right there. But the shock does come out.
And most likely a Texas shock, or Ontario likely would not have gone for that play. And yep, Greg dodges up into second, makes his way all the way into first, and it looks like he has a rang, so it's going to be very difficult for Iona and Chipper to make up this lost ground.
Yeah, it's a 1-4 for Texas right here. Gonna opt to maybe give space, I guess. Chipper is probably gonna potentially look for a chance to red, but it's a solid at least 2-3 for the end of Ontario. You see, Texas still has one. Greg is still up there, but there's definitely a red shell coming up right there. Not sure if it's gonna be able to do much damage, but Sand has made his way up in the second, and not having.
I'm trying so hard to hit him.
Oh, it's not gonna be able to connect though, and now it's still a top two. Oh, but the blue shell does come out.
Oh, but it looks like the blue shell will be too little too late. Nothing is going to happen here. Maybe a Texas blue shell being held. And in the back of the line, nope, it's a Piranha plant. So nothing actually happened. And we see a top 2-5 for Texas.
Yeah.
So top 2-5, 6, 7.
Yeah, top 2, 5, 6, 7, 9. That's a bot 3 for Ontario. That feels like a massive win for Texas there.
And Texas is starting to get a bit of a lead here, it looks like. So that'll probably be like a plus like 20 race, somewhere in the 20s. So Texas having a bit of a gap. We'll see what they do to try and hold this lead. A lot of top spots. We'll probably see some sort of runner for Texas, and maybe not sure exactly what bagger Ontario will go for, but I'd be surprised if we didn't see some sort of hard bagger.
Yeah, I feel like at this point you either go hard bagger or you go trainbow. Maybe they actually get trainbow this time, but I can't tell what they're going for here.
Very indecisive.
Yeah, the fake out of fake LA.
Los Angeles, okay.
Whoa.
And we see so many different track picks. I think they might have just taken too long to decide, I think.
I guess so, yeah.
LA Laps, I mean, they have the potential of taking that first shortcut at the beginning, maybe even pulling triple shrooms in the bottom spots. And taking a bunch of shortcuts. But no, we see the trainbow, and that would definitely work out nothing's definite in Mario Kart, but this is certainly a good choice.
Yes, there's very few things that are definite in Mario Kart, but one thing that I heard argued was that trainbow is as close to a guarantee of like helping out bottom spots as it is, because you got all those people in the back there who can just draft up, and then also with having that extra coin count, if you see Ontario in the lead by the smart steer strat?
Yeah, Iona going for the smart steering strat, and it works really well. Only one to take it.
Oh, that was sick actually, because now with that trail as well, Sand's gonna be able to stay up in first though. But hey, this is if there's potential here for Iona and Ontario to catch up, especially if that Red's not going to be able to make their way up, and then Sands in first. I think it's a 2-3 for Ontario, but that draft up is going to maybe look to change things here.
I don't know, just trying to get around, but can't quite do it. No, does get it. Gets the UMT at the very end.
Yeah, and pulling double defense here is good, especially because Sambert's trailing. Oh, but that's Nanas. Oh. Greg has Nanas in second, and this is very good for Texas to kind of have this kind of defense. They're top 2-4. It's 3-5, I think, for Ontario, and there's not a ton of like item play right now that Iona can really do with the red and the shroom.
Comes through stealing the shroom, and doesn't look like it'll impact Iona too much. Really just hoping for a blue shell now, but the race is almost over. We probably won't see it, and Iona has to slow down for the bomb. Okay, yeah, they're still at 3-4.
Yeah, I think that's probably it, because now the blue shell's going to come out, and I think, but that shock might make things a bit more interesting here, but I think that's still a comfortable top two, and Iona's going to get redded out here. If that was Texas here, and that could be a top 2-5. Oh, wait, that looks like a lot of tops for Texas.
Yeah, it looks like a top 2-4, I believe, for Texas, unless
Oh,
Oh, never mind.
Guilty.
Never mind. Guilty able to get into second.
Yeah, that's impressive right there from both sides here. So that 1-3-4 and then 6 from Texas, considering how good of a course Trainbow was in that situation, and even after the shock, that's a very strong result for Texas right there. I wonder what Ontario's going to be thinking of going into this next one.
Yeah, Texas now with quite a big lead. Scores are not quite updated yet, but it's probably getting pretty far up there. And as we see, yeah, the Twisted Mansion comes out again for Ontario. They really want this pick. I think they probably just have a lot of confidence on taking that shortcut consistently and getting up there really easily. Iona keeps checking his screenshots, but unfortunately the storage is full.
No,
So they haven't been going through. And they do get the Twisted Mansion pick. So for 2-5 something for Ontario, this will be a pretty strong pick, I believe. If Iona pulls the Shroom here, we'll almost be up into first already. If no one pulls the Shroom, he will be in first.
Yeah, and this is a prime spot for a Shroom as well. We're going to see a red instead. But if anyone from Ontario who's all in the middle pulls a Shroom, this could be very good here because it looks like we're going to see potentially a few cuts here. But, well, Texas is going to be able to still remain in tops even after an opening cut, which is not exactly a common thing. And Sand's going to maintain that trail and really force Iona to respect their space. Just trying to... The green shell is going to connect, though. What a snipe. And now you see a potential fight for that double box. Iona remains in first.
And that was trailing. So, yeah, that is a Texas player in second, definitely. Able to hold the lead, it looks like. Protection gone, but no red shell is coming out, it looks like.
Yes, and now I wonder if Texas was able to pull any Shrooms at this point now, because though the green shell isn't going to connect, and you see there's fire also in play, but Greg is going to stay in second, Iona's going to stay in first. The red shell is going to take away their defense here, and now Iona is defenseless here in first, but they're still maintaining a solid run here, just trying to do what they can here, looking to maybe go for like a... No, not going to go for like the time trial strat, but they are going to secure that double. And having a horn is absolutely massive now that you're in first place too.
Yeah, we could even see, if Greg does pull a Shroom, then he's going to risk just getting horned immediately the second he goes for that shortcut. So, when the blue's coming, Greg will probably try and force this horn, but Iona takes the opposite path, so it looks like he won't be able to do so.
Yeah, I love the option of taking that other path just to know, like, in case of a green or red, you really don't minimize the impact of that. So now Iona's got a good run, and you typically don't see people run this course as well as this, but like this is a crazy run, and we're going to be seeing glider strat as well, which you really only see happening in top spots. And Iona, I think, is going to be able to secure this top spot for Ontario here.
It looks like Greg fell behind a little bit, but will hold the second place. Someone on Ontario looking to cut up. I believe the Luigi is an Ontario player. They might have actually gotten into 2 there. We'll see on the results. Into 2.
That'd be crazy right here, if that's the case. But oh my god, they did!
And that is just what Ontario needed. Still a few bot spots, but I think that will reduce Texas's lead by a little bit. They'll still be ahead by quite a bit, so we'll see Iona, your screenshots are full. Stop checking.
2 in the zone. I think at this point it's just a force of habits.
Pulling up the Cutstown results for a second there. With the Coconut Mall pick, okay. And the Hyrule Circuit from Wait.
Oh, it's the other way around. Ontario pick.
Yeah. Oh, we're on Greg. Okay, I did not notice the POV switch. So yes, those picks make significantly more sense.
You know what? I like Coconut Mall here for Texas, having all those mid spots. It's basically, I like to think of Coconut Mall as like a DLC version of Twisted, where you can kind of take that Shroom cut early on and kind of just run away with it, and there's a bunch of other like options here. So I think for Texas, if they're able to pull the Shrooms or either just get top 2 out, this could be very good for them.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate description of Coconut Mall. I think the only difference is Coconut Mall is a little bit more and it looks like Greg bumped out of the shortcut, but able to maintain most of his speed.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that
All,
they're gonna run that. Oh, whoa,
all
whoa,
the way up into
whoa.
fourth. An Ontario top three, but Greg right there trying to break this up. We swap back to the Iona POV. Iona going for the glider strat as two red shells come out, but they not able to break either of them, and now Greg takes over first.
Yes, and now with Greg in first, this is exactly what you wanted from Texas right here, and this is how you respond to this. Well, it gets the launch trick Iona does, but now having this chance here, they're gonna be able to throw the red up. I think Greg does have some form of defense here though, so Greg, it looks like they're gonna be able to take double. Oh, that banana in mid could be potentially scary here. It looks like a 2-3, and there's a bomb also from Iona, so we could potentially see some stuff. And you saw some of those bananas as well. Nice red shell play from Bonkers right there. And now, oh wait, there's a blue shell up. This could be interesting here.
Nothing can be done. Iona has that. Iona did not slow down. It's a bit of a misplay there, but it looks like it's still going pretty well for Ontario. Greg in one, but 2-3 for Ontario. This could work out really well for them.
Yeah, Ontario's like everything behind one right now. This is very good. They're 2-3. They're 2-5 right here. And if they pull reds, it's going to be very scary for Greg in this situation. That bomb is going to make things a bit tricky to play around. But that's another red from
two reds.
Oh, the red went on top end, and it does connect apparently on the top.
And another blue shell comes out right as they get Greg out of first.
Oh no! And then they got spaced this out. Well, it goes wide for it, and now let's see what happens. It's Sand and Greg made their way up here, but I wonder what the ending results are. But I still think that's at least a winning race for Ontario. I want to say
extremely close at the end. At least a top two, I think, for Ontario. No, it's a 1-3. Sand made his way all up into second. Wow, that was looking so good for Ontario, but they just took out Greg at the wrong time. Or maybe that was even a Texas blue shell and Greg called that he was going to get taken out. That'd be a nice coordination play there. And Iona deleting some screenshots so they can get more. Okay, we see some smart plays being made.
And after this, Texas or Ontario is starting to whittle their way down through this league, because I think at this point it's going to be only a -24, which is, considering what the lead has been, it's really good now for the side of Ontario. And we see some courses we typically don't see in wars ever come out now.
Yeah, so it was leaked ahead of time by Greg that Calamari Desert was being time trialed. So I think Texas determined ahead of time that they wanted to pick this, but no, we do not see it quite yet. Instead, we see the Thwomp Ruins come out. Extremely unconventional pick. I don't think I've ever played this in any sort of war.
Yeah,
so
I used to play this when I played with Team Upload, which one of the Ontario players I used to be teammates with. So we used to pick Thwomp Ruins as a runner because not a lot of teams picked it, and it was kind of like a niche course having that up their pocket. So I kind of like it. I guess it might just be a Canadian thing of having Thwomp Ruins, but you see, being able to take that opening Nisk is very good for them here. But it does look like that Texas is going to be able to take top two and then maybe make their way up using this runner to their advantage.
And we see still a lot of like top six presence from Ontario, but Texas top two could be a little difficult to break. And Texas in 1-2-4 now. It looks like Red Shell comes up, but it gets broken on something, so Iona will survive for now. Triple greens and fire, but only around teammates, so not much Iona can do here.
Yeah, it's a shame that there's not much you really can do here, but there's a lot of like items that I just gotta throw those up away, try to make them up. Yeah, I'm taking this once again. Oh,
and the Bowser wait stat!
No, the Bowser really just faking an actual difference here and shoving Iona off. But is that Bowser? But the Bowser was part of Ontario.
Oh no!
Unfortunate team kill.
Oh, but Iona pulls the bill, and he's not even that far back, so this could end up being a good thing, especially if this Ontario Unite Canada maybe can pull the shock here. Even probably not, pretty close, but opportunity could be there, and Iona is holding the bill quite a while, so we could see that.
Yeah, a shock would be scary as heck here, because you know that Sand and Greg are top two as well, and then Iona has another dodge. Oh my gosh, they're gonna have a star in 3. If they post shock, this is going to be very scary for Texas right here, as This could be big, honestly. So we're going into this. There's a bit of a run right now from Sand and Greg, but that bomb also gonna come up here, and it's gonna be close going into these last few turns.
A lot of top spots for Texas, and I thought that Kamek's bill was going to go really far, and it looks like, yeah, top 2 for Texas, but Ontario United still some top spots, but Iona gets redded out and loses 3 spots. So really unfortunate race for Ontario. They wanted the shock so bad, but just were unable to get it. They pay the price with that bottom 3.
Oh, that bottom 3 is massive right here because we were talking just now about how Ontario is starting to whittle their way down at this lead, but yeah, top 2, 4, 6, 7, 9. I think the lead is gotten right back to where Texas wanted it to be, as that's a plus 24 on their end.
Yeah, Texas is going to have probably like an entire race lead now, so they're in a really nice position with only, I believe, 4 races to go. So probably just trying to get as even of races as they can now. Don't need to extend the lead that much more because it's already pretty big. And yeah, Texas up 48 now. It was more than an entire race.
Yeah, it's crazy because like the 2 races prior, Ontario got a plus 12 and a plus 12, and then this minus 24 really just shut that down. But going to GBA Mario Circuit, this is RMC, very good for Ontario in this spot, considering that they need to like figure out some way to maintain control and just reset the pack right here, just to get back into this. It's the last GP. We've seen crazy comebacks happen before, but the comeback has to start happening now.
Yeah, so we'll probably see. Yeah, we see. It looks like 4 players immediately going for the hard bag. Ontario because they need a crazy win here, and Texas because they need to stop Ontario from having that opportunity as much as possible. It looks like, yeah, Texas 1-3, I believe. Iona with the Shroom opts to use it here, takes over first. So we'll give Ontario that backup plan. If it takes them too long to pull shock, they'll at least have that first place maybe secured. But we'll see how long Iona can hold this position.
Yeah, having double defense is going to be helpful here, but on this track, nothing is really safe at this point. Especially if a blue happens, you have the bill spot, the extension, and the first turn. So like, really, it's crazy here what could be happening because like there's definitely some running potential, but because of the lack of item sets, it could be it's such a hard bagger for that regard. And you see that Texas is working their way back up to the front, and there's a bomb that trails Iona out, and Texas is now mostly in tops.
I believe
This could be a potentially scary situation here.
I believe a Texas top 3 and a 4-5 for Ontario United. They desperately need shock here, but it looks like they still haven't pulled it yet, unless it could be after the bill. I don't know, maybe waiting for something, but no shock comes out.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of, and I don't know if Ontario has a lot of dodges either, because the Golden is going to come out here, and the Golden's, oh, there's a shock, and when Ontario dodges, this could be big for them right here. The Star comes out now, and also the Ghost going to potentially look to steal some items, steal Shrooms as well. I don't know if it was a little too late, but that's at least going to salvage some points for the end of Ontario.
I see the Bowser up there, and I think a third for Ontario. Yeah, a 2-3-5. So they clutched out a couple spots at the end, but that's really not going to do much for them as they're still down so much. With only 3 races left, this is going to be very difficult for Ontario to come back from.
Agreed. I think having that 1 for Texas really hurts Ontario in this situation, and like a lot of mid spots I think also is like a 1 4 6 7 8, yeah, 1 4 6 7 8 12. So having all those mid spots could be interesting here. I wonder what kind of track we're gonna see in response. The Cheap Beach comes out from Ontario. That is actually another track I think Canadian players like for some reason. So really starting to make sense. Oh, and we see the Streeto come out, making sense with the DP3 and the Cheap Beach here.
Yeah, I think Ontario, we'll see if anyone else swapped to that, but Ontario knows that they need every advantage they can get with only a couple of races remaining and a big lead to make up. So I'd say that's a pretty smart play to make from Iona.
Yeah, I think, having Ontario now, they got their drafter here. Having Cheap Beach, you don't really see this a lot from teams not named Speed Stars or teams not in Germany, but It might be working out here for Ontario, and I wonder if anyone else made that call to go to Streetle here. But now we get to see there's a lot of actually like um setup variety with a lot of pipe frames and cat cruisers that I did not remember seeing.
And I think we're seeing people maybe just trying to change something up for the last couple of races, just desperately trying to find some way to break the Texas formation in the top spots because they've been just so consistent and just holding that top two whenever they get it.
That's such a great point. You see Greg. Greg has been up here almost every single race, no matter what track it's been. So like really having that has been really incredible for Texas, knowing that you're always going to have some type of front presence. And so like the people in the back can always use stuff to catch up, but having that front presence is really important right here. As you see the green shells are starting to come out from both sides, just trying to make something happen here. But now with this kind of distance that Greg has built up, that blue shell's gonna put a stop to them at least for now, and now it's going to potential. Oh
Greg
wait, Greg had a dog. Greg had a horn, and now the red shell's going to come out though, gonna take him out. But hey, that was a good run at least for him up until then.
So Iona takes over one, and I believe the Luigi in third is an Ontario United player. Oh, gets taken out. So we see Iona and Greg with a bit of a lead on everyone else. Double protection from Iona, and hopefully not a second blue shell. And it hits the back on Greg.
That's crazy, getting that back on Greg, and I wonder who's in that build. I see another white Yoshi come up to play here. That coin is gonna get stolen though, but Iona still pulls some defense. And there's that second blue as you were mentioning it. That's a big enough lead though, so I wonder if it's going to be enough. Gotta use the crab to like off, and this could be interesting here. Sand is starting to work their way up here as we're approaching the final turns of this race.
Iona gets ghosted. If Sand saw that, then a red shell could come out at the very end, but it looks like Iona will be able to hold the first. But
yeah,
I don't.
Sand in second. Oh, there's a shock. I wonder if anyone got there.
Looks like the Kamek got a couple spots at the end, but really not too impactful. And we still see a bunch of bottom spots for Ontario. This could be almost the end for them. They just are running out of time to make up this lead.
Yeah, and if you're Texas, this is exactly what you want to do, even on tracks that weren't your own. Getting just keeping the races small, whether that was a win or a loss, has been absolutely beneficial for them because I think that's a +2, so it's like I want to say it's 437 to 383, which is big for them because like at this point it's +54 for Texas. So it's not over yet, but Ontario needs to have a pretty decent response in this next race if they want to win this.
And we see, honestly, runners from both teams. I think maybe Ontario just picking like tracks that they know that they are good at because they need really good races here. Like we need like pretty much like top 3 is required both of these races, or we'll need something like a top 6 or a top 5 in one of them, which is going to be very difficult to do, especially on tracks that they aren't completely confident on. So seeing a runner from both teams, not that surprising.
Yeah, well, the Waluigi Stadium pick, I think, was Texas, and I like the pick for them here. And Sand's going to go for that trail immediately, and it's going to actually shove out Iona. Iona has to take a really awkward line here. And now, but there's a lot of people from Ontario just, like, really starting to catch up, and they're, like, mostly mids here. That's a rough shove, though. But a lot of, like, Texas is, like, 1-4. 1-4, I think. And what a
yeah, we see a team kill from Iona. I think they're getting to the point where they're desperate and having to play as aggressive as possible, so sometimes that can happen when these wars get really close, and Iona taken out by the back green.
Yeah, and you see some bagging now from Iona, just trying to like get some items here. They get Star Bill, also opted to take the top path, which you don't really see very often, like in like top level. So I'm interested to see like what the play is here. I think they're just gonna look to use the star here, get another items pull. Yes, there is, and there's a lot of Texas actually back here actually. So. And I know that might be a top 2 for Texas, but things could be. It's still early. Stuff could happen here.
Smart staying to stop from going out of bounds. couldn't tell for sure if he had it on or off. So make sure there, and Iona making their way up into the top spots, and we see Mumu in third. This could end up working out for Ontario, but hard to say. Not exactly sure who's in first right now. Man, it's probably Greg. Greg's always up there, but Ontario will need to stop that if they want to win this match. And Blue Shell comes out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's Sand who's going to be taking the blue shell right there with the blue Yoshi, yes. But I think that's Greg right behind him as well. So like I think that's a top two right now for Texas, which is going to potentially be the dagger to end this. Oh, Shock does come out. I don't know how many. I think that's only like one dodge though. I wasn't sure who exactly dodged, but this is like some interesting here. As we're going to be going into these last few turns. I don't know if this is going to be big enough for Ontario to potentially clutch this out and keep this game alive. But even with all these items coming up, I don't know. I think that's a Texas top two, which is probably going to seal the deal for them and be a GG's.
Unless Texas got like pretty much all the bottom spots, then that's really, and they got two bottom spots, but they got bot two, but I don't think that'll be enough, and I think that seals the nail in the coffin for Ontario. So we'll probably see too big a lead for them to make up, but hey, there's always a chance Texas could accidentally repick. Always something to think about. It's never over until the last race ends.
Yeah, and we're going to have to see a repick, I guess, at this point because that was an even race apparently. So and you're opting to not go for the repick by picking random, and then smart decision here.
So Texas has won the match, but we'll watch this last one because the point differential could end up mattering later in the season. So I'm sure the teams will still be trying a bit here. Obviously, not as motivated as the win has slipped out of their fingers, but let's just see. Wow, Greg on 144.
I was just gonna comment about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think individual scores is something you definitely start thinking about in the last race when the outcome of the match has already been decided. So, will Greg get the 159? We'll find out pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think all eyes are going to be on Greg to see like what kind of indivs we see here. And you see Iona getting hit out immediately right here. And that's going to be very good for Texas if we don't see blues or shocks really being pulled, because having that kind of running on this course especially, and you see Sand, I think, also back here potentially looking to get like some counterplay items just in case of counters for Ontario's bagging. So I think this could be potentially very good for Texas, especially because you see a lot of Ontario already back here early on.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably looking to cut up here with the shrooms. Yep, gets up there all the way up into 5th with the stars. So if Ontario does pull shock, then Iona will be in an incredible position. Opts to cut up again.
Oh, the blue shell. Oh my god, Greg dodged the blue shell. Because now, so yeah, Greg is sitting. Oh, okay, here we go. Quad reds from Iona. I think that's Texas right behind him though, which might make things a bit harder to take out Greg. But you can tell there's definitely an effort. Yeah, they're starting to fire up those reds. This could be bad for Greg here.
Yeah, Greg had only a single box of this set, so it'll be difficult for Greg to get more protection here. Iona could take over this first very shortly.
Yeah, we saw Greg get hit out, but okay, yeah, more reds. All we're seeing are red shells. I think that's like
only red
shells. Yeah, I think.
Okay, Greg finally gets hit by one. It has the bomb! Crazy from Greg. Potentially even got hit on purpose by that one, knowing that there could be another coming and that he could have the bomb ready to take out Iona.
That is a crazy play, and that's actually going to save, and because I think that's going to be a 1-3 here. Yeah, Greg is going to be safe here. The blue show is going to come out now, but I don't think it's going to be enough, as Texas is going to be cruising with, I think, a 1-3-4 in that final race to this win.
Yeah, so Texas already had the win secured, but just wanting to really prove their dominance over Ontario in this last race, and we do see the 159 for Greg. Incredibly high score, getting a top spot pretty much every single race. Pretty much getting first every race, honestly. It's very well done by Greg.
Yeah, very good job from the Texas team as a whole. There didn't really feel like any weak links on that team. And yes, you had Greg and Sand putting up amazing numbers, but that felt like a very strong team effort from them. So, like, we knew going into the season they were going to be very good, and after watching that, I could see why.
Yeah, I think Texas's top presence with Greg and Sand up there in those top spots just so impactful for them. And now with the standings, so Ontario took 2 losses today because they did end up losing to Kutztown, and now Texas will be 3-0. I'm not sure when their next match is for this week, but they could get up into 4-0 and really have a dominant spot up there.
Yeah, I think you're sitting very comfortably if you're Texas right now, knowing that you have like already this trio. You beat Ontario especially, who's one of the best teams in this division. So knowing, I don't know who else, I forget off the top of my head who Texas plays next, but really, no matter, every team I know in Division 1 is scared of Texas to some degree, whether they want to admit it or not. And based on this result, I don't blame them.
I believe Texas is playing Peach State Patriots because they cannot be playing Kutztown, as Kutztown has already played both their. Or wait.
Ontario played both.
Ontario played both, not Cut. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm trying to do the mental gymnastics, but it's not quite working out, so don't mind me. Here.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got Texas Kutztown next week apparently, because Kutztown also they played. I think they were supposed to play you guys, UA, and then they played Ontario, but that being on the reschedule, so that was unfortunate there. But hey, that's gonna be it from us over at CMKL. So it's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you, Six. Where can any of the people find you on like social media anywhere?
They can follow my YouTube channel, Elephant62, and my Twitch channel of the same name. Here, I can link it in chat real quick for the viewers watching, if I can actually get back to the chat, which I am somehow struggling to do. Yeah, I'll link it in chat. Follow me at this name on Twitch or on YouTube. Give me the love for the cast, and definitely shoot that right back at Spicy. Doing
for sure.
Really holding this league together with the content, casting 2 matches back to back.
I was supposed to have 3. I was actually gonna have 3 until
oh my god,
Texas Ontario, and they were supposed to play it this right now, but they moved up to the original time, and I was supposed to do Division 3 Iona, Nebraska. So it would have been 3 matches in a row, which would have been, I would have felt terrible, but it would have been so fun. I'm sad I didn't get to do it, but hey, it is what it is. Maybe you'll see me casting more often next week. So you can find me on Twitch now, I guess, at SpicyBM. I think Spicy_BM. You can find me on YouTube also, SpicyBM. Follow me on Twitter at 2SpicyBM, and yeah, you'll find me around on Discord if you don't know where I am. So been an absolute pleasure commentating with you, Six. Hopefully we get a chance to do this again. But hey, that's gonna be it from us over at CMKL. Hope to see you guys soon for more primetime action or some more like CMKL content coming your way.
I hope to see you guys in the future. Have a nice night.